Hey y'all, it's Kristen from our Darnay Farm here, and I just wanted to make a quick video. Fucking chickens. I just wanted to make a quick video while I'm waiting for the horses to finish eating here. And if you're in my training group or we talked about training, I say a lot that behavior is information, right? And the lovely thing about horses, and there's so many lovely things about horses, but one of the great ones is that like they don't lie, right? So their behavior doesn't lie. And we put in our new feed stalls, and our herd eats really well together. They share hay nets all the time. Aoife does tend to have a bigger bubble than the rest of the horses. But I noticed, especially as the weather had gotten a little bit cooler, that there was a little bit of tension in the feed stalls, that Aoife, wanted a little, I swear, chicken, okay, wanted a little bit more space. And which is uncharacteristic, right? So that tells me that from her behavior, I'm going to guess that she was feeling a little bit uncomfortable, that her needs weren't being met. Hold, please. Okay. That her needs weren't being met, and I felt that, we have hay pretty much 24/7, but their behavior was telling me something different, right? So her behavior was telling me that she felt insecure about her food. If she felt completely secure in her food, she wouldn't have any issues with the other horses eating close to her. So I changed my method of doing their hay nets, where instead of putting out hay first thing in the morning, sorry, Aoife had finished eating and I just wanted to get out and close her stall. We've been putting out hay first thing in the morning. So we put out hay at night around 10 o'clock, and then right around 7 a.m. we'd put out more hay. And there were tiny gaps in, there'd be like little dregs of hay. But I was like, but they're getting hay right away and I'm getting loose hay. But again, their behavior was saying that they did not feel secure. So what I was able to do is I was like, okay, well, I'll just put all of their hay out at night. I'll put their morning round out at night. That way they have free access to it the entire time. And once I did that, the drama in the feed stalls went down dramatically. So once their needs were met, once they felt that they were secure in their food again, the behavior went away. And that's where I talk a lot about making sure that we understand kind of where behavior is coming from, what it could mean, and then we change our behavior, our antecedents, in order to kind of meet their needs. So I just wanted to kind of share that. I'm going to hope to make a longer video. It is very chilly today. But in case this is the last one, I hope this helps, and it kind of lets you think about your herd and their behavior and what that's telling you and how you can change things to mitigate it. I'll see you next time. Okay, I had more thoughts as I was sitting here. And again, I know I posted our feed stalls and you're like, well, those will never work. Horses are too mean, And again, so we've already kind of covered the fact that I believe that resource guarding is a common but abnormal behavior, right? So there's an underlying issue if a horse feels like they need to resource guard, that I would advise, if you're seeing that, to try to get to the bottom of. I know it's not easy. I think it takes a lot of time in horses, especially to have had like food insecurity. Aoife was a starvation case going into rescue, so I think that she just deep in her heart is always worried that food's going to run out, but I do think it's indicative of a problem. The other thing is that I do think that we sometimes need to monitor things to ensure they're going to work. And so, like, as an example, so Belios just finished eating. I'm standing here monitoring. I'm going to go ahead and close his his feed stall. And the reason I do this is to ensure that the other horses never learn that they could get reinforced with food in his stall, right? There's a little bit like tiny little flicks left in here. I'm gonna go ahead and just take this out and away so that any additional reinforcement is found out and away from these feed stalls, and that's going to kind of mitigate the value of those feed stalls that are not theirs, right? So their feed stall becomes pretty high value, but food's always available. There's food inside the stalls, there's food outside of the stalls. I use a higher value hay, both in the feed stalls, so hopefully that our faster eaters have access to hay to keep them busy and out of everybody else's space. But then I also put that same hay out here. So once you're done, if you want to leave, and so now you can see Aoife is done and she's eating, Remy and Belios are both done and they're sharing a hay pile. And again, it's just leaving the horses. So still inside are Rose, Dakota, and Allie. And they're left in peace to finish their hay. Allie and Rose both are probably done with their food and are eating hay. So they're choosing to eat inside. These guys are choosing to eat outside. The more choice we can give them, but it's controlled choice and managed choice. I'm helping them make good choices. And then again, so Dakota obviously has a higher volume of food and takes more time to eat. She has a hay net in her stall, but she tends to vacate it once she's done with her hard feed. And yeah, so I do think that there is like, systems can work when managed appropriately. And again, I think that when we see a horse expressing some behaviors related to anxiety, why would we not meet those needs? And so again, one thing that I changed is that Aoife doesn't need a lot of hard feed. Basically, she just needs a carrier for her minerals and her vitamin E. But that being said, keeping her busy and full longer to allow some of the other horses to eat, from a behavior management standpoint, an antecedent derangement standpoint, makes a lot of sense. So there's no reason why she can't have a couple extra pounds of Timothy pellets, like either she's going to eat hay out here, she's gonna eat hay in there. And if having that helps her feel more comfortable, there's no reason not to do that. So she went from 1 pound of Timothy pellets to 3 pounds of Timothy pellets, because that kept her in her stall and eating and busy and comfortable while everyone else got to eat. So, finding ways to meet their emotional needs and keep them from getting into a state where they feel like they need to protect their food or need to get agitated. And then again, looking into those moments as like, that's information. What can I do? How can I make this easier? How can I make you feel safer? How can I make you know that you don't have to act in that fashion? So would this work for everybody? No, it wouldn't work for everybody. It worked for us. And again, as long as we closely monitor, and I tend to know the horses' personalities pretty well. And again, so like as these horses will finish, as each one backs out, I just close their stall door so no one else goes in. And then the whole thing gets closed off with hot wire once everybody is done. And it's not accessible to them when it's not being closely managed. Yeah, just wanted to share that with you guys. So just kind of updating as things progress here. So now we have Dakota, Belios, and Remy chilling over there and eating. Rose is done and she's eating the hay over here. Aoife is very helpfully licking Rose's bucket clean, the last little dregs that were in there. And Rose gets alfalfa, so I think the little remnants make Aoife very happy. There's a little bit left in the bucket over there. So we're just kind of hanging out here waiting on Allie, who's decided to consume her hay in her stall, although looks like she's done. So you can see here she'll just back herself on out of there. Debating if she's actually done. Y'all done, girlfriend? No. we're still munching. So she's finishing her hay. Decided it was not worth it to leave. Cool. Allie's done eating. I'm gonna throw it back. The rest of the crew is drinking, which they all got a little added salt in their food today because it's cold and we definitely want to make sure that our crew keeps drinking. So I'm gonna finish closing up these stalls. Maybe. Hold on. There we go. All right, so now all the stalls are closed off. Then I take our little hot wire, which obviously is currently off, and then run it across to keep everybody honest here about not sneaking into stalls. It's harder to do one-handed than I imagined. I wrap it around this hot wire because it powers what's up against the barn. And then I just took it over. And then I'll go turn the hot wire on and I can clean the track and they'll finish. So now we have Aoife here finishing up. Dakota's licking somebody's bucket over there. The other other four, I know how to count, are over by the water trough. And I imagine that crew is going to head out back. So that's the crew. The water trough makes me very happy to see everybody drinking. Looks like Balios is losing the let's go out back plan. Interesting to see what he decides to do here. He is correct. That is where all the hay is. He's like, guys, what if, now hear me out, what if we all went out back?